Okay, reference angle. So, for example, we have 30 degrees. Ang reference angle niya is also 30 degrees. Kasi ano ba yung 30 degrees? That would be yung angle relative dito sa buong x-axis. So, for example, this one, ito yung terminal side natin. Kung ano yung pinakamalapit na x-axis sa kanya. So, that would be yung ganyan. How about yung 100 degrees? Okay, so 100 degrees would be somewhere here. Right? Yan yung 100 degrees. Ang reference angle niyan would be ito. From the x-axis, papunta sa terminal side niya. Okay? So, from here to here, if this is 100, ito ay 80 degrees. So, ang reference angle niya is 80 degrees ng angle na to. Okay? Ng 100 degrees. 100 degrees is the standard or yung terminal angle. And the reference angle of this terminal angle is 80 degrees. Okay? How about yung 250 degrees? 250 degrees is somewhere here. Diba? Tama ba? Yes. And ito yung 250 degrees natin. This is 180. So, ano yung matitira dito? Asan yung reference angle nito? Ang reference angle would be ito. From the x-axis, pababa. Okay? So, 180 minus 250, that's equal to 70 degrees. So, 70 degrees yung reference angle natin dito. So, bakit kailangan to? Kasi mamaya, take note of this kasi mamaya mas madaling mag-solve ng trigonometric functions natin kapag alam natin kunin yung reference angle. So, take note guys, ito always. Along the x, hindi ito. Okay? Now, let's discuss yung unit circle natin. Nakikita ba? O nag-glare?
Nakikita naman po.
Okay. So, if meron tayong circle dito, anong equation ng circle nito? We have here x and y. If ang circle na to has radius r, ang equation of this circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So, mag-generalize muna tayo. Huwag muna unit circle. Mamaya na tayo mag-unit circle. So, let's say itong point na to, ang point na to is represented by x and y. Tama? Point x and y sa x and y axis na coordinate natin. Okay? And if titingnan nyo guys, marunong na ba kung paano kumuha ng sine and cosine from here? Makaka-form tayo ng right triangle. Correct? This is x. Tama? Yung buong length na to, that would be x. And ito naman from here, paangat, that would be yung y. So here we have x and y. Again, anong angle yung mga tinitingnan natin? That would be yung ito. Tama? So here, let's use our SOHCAHTOA. Sine theta, that's equal to opposite y over r. Cosine theta, adjacent, so that's x over r. Tangent theta, opposite over adjacent, y over x. And pagdating naman sa unit circle natin, ano ang sinasabi natin unit circle? That would be yung circle natin na may radius equal to 1. So centered siya at the origin. So yung center niya is 0, 0, and then yung radius niya is equal to 1. So kapag maging equal to 1 yung radius, ano mangyayari sa sine theta natin? Magiging 1 tong sa baba. So sine theta is equal to y. Cosine theta is just equal to x. And yung tangent natin is equal to y over x pa rin. Okay? So, anong significance ito? Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, yung y natin, if this is just equal to 1, ang point na to can also be defined as, ano yung x natin? That's equal to cosine theta, and then sine theta naman yung y natin. So, sige, mag-example tayo. Burahin ko na. Burahin ko na. Let's say we have this unit circle, okay, and theta equal to 60 degrees. Radius equal to 1 and then theta equal to 60 degrees. Okay, kanina sa triangles natin, maka-form tayo dito ng right triangle, right? And ano ulit yung ratio ng mga sides natin? If this is 1, if the hypotenuse is 1, yung opposite sa 60 would be square root of 3 over 2. And ito naman would be, 1 over 2 or 1 half. May questions ko saan nakuha to? Yung 1 half and square root of 3 over 2?
Wala po.
Wala. Okay, so yung point na to is square root of 3, x, which is 1 half, and square root of 3 over 2. Okay? Yan yung for 60 degrees natin. How about if we have 120 degrees? Asan yung 120 degrees natin? Somewhere dito, right? Ay, saglit lang. Ito muna. Sorry. Pinutol ko. Okay, so ito na yung ating x and y. Now, if we're gonna solve for sine 60, cosine 60, and tangent 60, hindi ko na kukunin yung for mga secant, cosecant, and cotangent kasi reciprocal lang sila ng mga values na to. Okay, sine 60 would be equal to y. So, itong square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 60, yung x, so equal to 1 half. Tangent 60 is equal to y, or sine 60 over cosine 60, so that's square root of 3 over 2, all over 1 half. Magka-cancel yung 2 niyan, we have square root of 3. Now, tingnan naman natin for angle 120 degrees. So, ito yung kanina sinasabi ko, kaya important yung reference angle. Kasi, can you give me the value of sine 120 degrees? Well, masasolve naman natin. Pero mas madali if kunin na lang natin yung reference angle niya. And the reference angle here is 180 minus 120, that's 60 degrees. So, meron kang 60 degrees dito. Gawa tayo ulit ng right triangle. Okay, radius is still 1. Okay, kasi same circle lang yan. Radius is equal to 1. Angle opposite 60 would be square root of 3 over 2. And ito naman would be 1 half. Okay? But remember, this is a unit circle. And ito yung center natin. 0, 0 ito. Okay, if yung center natin, ibig sabihin, itong x natin would be negative. Correct? So, ang point na to is negative 1 over 2 and square root of 3 over 2. So, if tatanungin tayo ng values ng, kita pa ba? Sine 120, cosine 120, and tangent 120 degrees. degrees. Ano yung sine 120 natin? Square root of 3 over 2 pa rin. Okay, how about cosine 120? That would be negative 1/2. Tama? And then tangent 120 natin would be negative square root of 3. So kung mapapansin nyo, equal lang yung mga absolute value nila. Nagpapalit lang ng signs. Okay? So if you try to solve for angle ng 240 degrees, this one, and ng 300 degrees, okay? Ang reference angle, so ibig sabihin from here to here, 60 degrees. Ito rin, reference angle, so from X to the terminal side, that would be 60 degrees din. So if tatry nyo i-solve yan, okay, gawa lang kayo ng right triangles dyan. Ang makuha points dito would be, ito is 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. Ito naman, negative 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so itatry yung kunin yung sine ng 240, cosine 240, tangent 240, and then sine 300, cosine 300, and tangent 300. Mapapansin nyo na may pattern sa signs nila. Okay? May questions ba dito bago ko burahin? Wala? Ay, actually, kasya naman sa baba. Okay, so, kaya important yung reference angle natin kasi we can just solve for the values nung reference angle, then tingnan natin kung nasa ang quadrant siya, kung nasa ang part siya ng ating Cartesian coordinate, and then assign na lang tayo ng signs. Okay, so if ito yung ating X and Y, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Dito, positive yung X natin, positive din yung Y natin. Ito, negative yung X natin, positive yung Y. How about here? Negative both X and Y. How about here? Positive X, pero negative Y. So, kung babalikan niyo yung definition natin ng sine, cosine, and tangent, dito makikita natin na yung lahat ng sine ng trigonometric functions natin is positive. So, all trig functions ay may positive sign. How about here? Positive yung Y, so dito sine and cosecant. Sila yung positive. Dito naman ang positive dito would be tangent. Yeah, tangent and cotangent. And dito naman ang positive dito would be cosine and secant. Okay, so meron tayong acronym dito. All students take calculus. All, sine, tangent, cosine. Or pwede nyo rin isipin, since here, y yung sine theta natin, yung cosecant natin is x, and then, cosine natin is x, and tangent natin is y over x. Ang sine natin is positive whenever y is positive. So, ano yun? Ibig sabihin, itong lahat ng nasa taas. Doon lang positive si sine, above ng x-axis. Si cosine naman, babase siya sa x. So, kapag positive si x, positive si cosine. Dito naman yun. Okay? So, important to kasi may mga problems minsan na given ka, for example, ng value ni secant theta is equal to 2/3. Tapos may given ka if sine is positive, okay, or sine is in the first quadrant, if theta is in the first quadrant, what is the value of ganito? Or pwede rin sabihin niya, if theta is in the fourth quadrant, what is the value of cosecant theta? Ano yung expect mo na value ng cosecant theta? Positive or negative? Given tayo ng secant na 2/3, okay? And then positive siya. Kasi, so kapag positive siya, ang options mo lang quadrant 1 or quadrant 4. Pero given ka naman na fourth quadrant. So alam mong nandito yung angle mo, somewhere here. If you're being asked for cosecant, anong dapat na value ng cosecant mo? Positive or negative? It should be negative. Kasi positive lang si cosecant dito at dito. Okay, so yun yung mga ano niya. Tsaka mas madali rin during exam kasi pwede ka na magbawas ng choices mo. Okay, no, may questions ba dito? Huwag mahiya or masyadong madali na to. Mag-move tayo sa solving lang. Masyadong madali? Solving lang?
Opo.
Nakaka-follow. Narinig ba ako?
Naririnig po.
Okay. Okay, guys, I want you to solve for or to complete this table. Values given itong theta. Yung mga theta na. So guys, hindi ko naman, well ako, I don't memorize this. Bumabalik ako always sa ganito. Sa 30, 60, and 45, 45. Pero pwede nyo rin siyang i-memorize. Actually, kaka-practice nito, ma-memorize na eventually na, for example, sine 60, that's square root of 3 over 2. Pag sinabi mong cosine 30, that's square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 60, that's equal to 1/2. Ma-memorize nyo lang din siya at some point. Pero mas maganda if alam nyo kung paano bumalik sa basic. Kasi for example, parang hindi ka sure nalilito ka. Square root of 3 over 2 ba or 1/2? Edi solve mo na lang. So try this one. Sabihan niyo ako pag tapos na. Sasabihin niyo na yung values, ako magsusulat mamaya. Okay? Kaya ba to? Madali lang.
Pwede pong paano muna sa 0 degree po.
Ano?
Pwede pong pasimulan niyo po muna sa 0 degree, tapos tuloy na lang namin sa 30 to 180.
Okay. So for example, ito yung value ng theta, di ba? I mean, ito yung ano ng theta. Okay? So here, sine 0 degrees. If theta is equal to 0, ibig sabihin ito lang yon. Andito yung theta mo. Okay? Since 1 yan, unit circle, hindi ko na i-draw ng full. Ang x natin is equal to 1 at this point. 0 naman ang ating y. Tama? So, ang sine 0 degrees natin would be, si sine is equal to y, ito x, ito y over x.
Over x.
Ito ay 0. Cosine 0 would be 1. Kasi 1 yung value ng ating x. So, ang tangent natin would be 0 over 1 or 0. Actually, nasagot na natin to kanina, 60 degrees, right?
Opo.
This is 60 degrees. Ang point natin dito would be 1/2 and square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so ang sine natin is square root of 3 over 2. Ang cosine 60 natin would be
1/2
half. And ang tangent 60 natin is square root of
square root of 3.
3. Okay? Okay. So, actually, ang gagawin nyo lang talaga dito, identify nyo muna yung points, then saka nyo i-fill out itong boxes here. Okay? So, ang 30 degrees, kapag 30 degrees yung nandito natin, isipin nyo lang, kasi iba yung 30, 60, 90 natin, pair naman siya. Kapag 60 yung nandito, mas malaki yung y mo. So, yung y mo is square root of 3 over 2. Kapag 30 degrees naman, mas pa-flat lang siya. Okay? So, yung x mo, siya yung square root of 3 over 2. Okay? So, ito yung point natin for 30 degrees. Ito for 60 degrees. Ito naman for 45 degrees. Okay? So, here, ano yung sine 30 natin? 1/2. Okay? Cosine 30 natin, that's equal to square root of 3 over 2. Now, what's our tangent 30. Yan ay 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. Magkakancel yung 2 dyan, or yung 1/2. That would be 1 over square root of 3. Rationalize to. Equals sa square root of 3 over 3. Tama? Marunong mag-rationalize. Pag nag-rationalize, multiply lang yung numerator and denominator by square root of 3. Makakuha is square root of 3 over 3. How about this one? 45 degrees. Equal lang yung cosine 45 and sine 45 degrees. Tangent at 45 degrees, that's equal to what?
1.
Equal lang sila, so 1. Okay? 90 degrees, ito yan. So yung y natin is 1, ang x natin is 0. So cosine natin is 0, ang sine 90 natin is 1. Ang tangent natin is undefined kasi 1 over 0. How about at 180 degrees? We have -1 and 0. So ang sine natin is 0, ang cosine natin is -1. Ang ating tangent 180 degrees is 0. Okay? So guys, gusto kong pansinin nyo dito, itong sine 30 and cosine 60. Ano napapansin nyo? Equal sila, di ba? How about cosine 30 and itong sine 60? Equal sila. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang 30 and 60 complementary. Cosine 30, 30 then 60 ng sine complementary. And ito rin, 45 and 45, equal sila. Okay, so from here, meron tayong tinatawag na co-function identities. Or mamaya na lang lahat tayo. Pero pansinin nyo lang to. So, actually, sige, ililista ko na lang mamaya lahat ng identities. From here, we can say na if we have sine A, that's equal to cosine B, if yung A plus B natin is equal to 90 degrees. So may iba-ibang way para sinusulat yung identity na to. Minsan makakakita kayo ng sine 90 minus A. Okay, that's always equal to cosine of A. Similarly, kapag meron kang cosine 90 minus, let's say, A pa rin. That's equal to sine of A. Okay, so itong nasa loob ng cosine at yung nasa loob ng sine, complementary sila, or yung sum nila is equal to 90. Or pwede rin, sine A is equal to cosine B, given na A plus B is equal to 90 degrees. Or, ano pa ba? Pi over 2. So, take note din yan. 90 or pi over 2. Sige, mag-simplify tayo ngayon ng simplify na. Ayan, mag-graphing muna tayo. May questions pa dito? Solve pa tayo. Ang example. For example, if we're given with this tangent, okay, solve for this one. How do we solve for this one? Kaya important yung reference angles natin, okay? Kasi ito, kukunin mo yung multiples ng 360 na meron dyan. This is also equal to tangent of 1,080 degrees plus 45 degrees. So ako ito kinuha. This is 360 times 3. So ibig sabihin, ang itsura ng tangent 1,125 is tatlong ikot, 360, 720, 1,080, 45. Okay? Yan yung 1,215. Ang kanyang reference angle is Yung ito lang, from x-axis, 45 degrees. Okay? So this is just equal to tangent of 45 degrees. So guys, so ang kinukuha mo would be multiple lang 360 degrees or 2 pi. So kung naka-rad, 2 pi yung sineseparate mo. So hiwalay mo siya into dalawa. So what's tangent 45 degrees? Sinolve na to kanina. Square root of?
2.
Ay, 1 lang pala.
2.
1. Kasi, square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Y over x equal lang, so equal to 1. Okay? Sige, try to solve for this one. And isang example muna, tapos try to solve the next two. Sine 29 pi over 6. Anong tamang pagkakahati nito? So gusto mo na ano ba yung pinaka malapit na multiple ng 6 dito? That would be 24 pi, correct? Kasi ito ay equal to sa 4 pi. So divisible siya by 2 pi. Kasi gusto mo multiples ng 2 pi. Ang matitira sa'yo would be 5 pi over 6. What is 5 pi over 6? 150 degrees. So, depende sa technique nyo, you can solve it by converting it. Pero, alam ko kasi na 5 pi over 6, ang natira would be 1/6 pi. Ang 1/6 pi is 30 degrees. So, alam ko na nandito siya. So, ang 5 pi over 6 is equal to 150 degrees. Okay? And ang kanyang reference angle would be 30 degrees or pi over 6. Ito yung reference angle mo. Now, yung tinatanong is sine nun. So, this is just equal to sine of 5 pi over 6. So, take note guys, sine ng 5 pi over 6. Not ng pi over 6 lang. Okay, but you can solve this by solving for the sine of pi over 6 and then take into account yung sine niya. Okay? Sine, as in sine nung x and y. May questions ba so far? Ano yung sagot dito? Pi over 6 or 30? We have here square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. So sine yung y, so that's equal to 1/2. Positive or negative? Positive. Kasi positive naman yung sine dito. Okay? Kasi diba, all students take calculus. Positive yung sine na sa angle na nagfo-fall dito sa second quadrant. Okay? May questions ba? Sige, hindi ko buburahin. Answer this one. Okay. Solve for the two. Sige, paki-chat sa akin yung sagot nyo. Or pwede na sabihin nyo lang out loud. Pero pag nahihiya, i-chat.
Ma'am, yung 1 po ba, ano, na, ma'am, nawala po yung sounds nyo, nakamute kayo.
Ay, anong question?
Hindi, nasagot ko na po kasi hindi ko po sure kung tama.
Sige. Anong sagot mo for number 1?
Ano po siya, cos sine 30 degrees,
Value mismo. Like this one.
negative square root of 3 over 2.
Negative square root of 3 over?
2.
Okay, tingnan natin. Nagsasagot ba, Kylie? Huwag mahiya pag may tanong ha. Dalawa lang kayo. So, dapat nakakapagtanong ng maayos. Okay?
Yun yung sagot ko, mamute kasi di po friendly yung neighborhood namin. Sobrang ingay pa ng kapitbahay.
Sige, okay lang. But just try. Sige, start na natin. Nasagot niyo na ba both? Or ito pa lang?
Yung 1 pa lang po ako, pero
Yung one din po.
Okay, sige. Continue lang. Magsasalita lang ako. Mag-answer lang kayo. Another tip, para alam nyo kung saan, lalo na pag mga nakarad, alam naman natin, this is 0, this is pi over 2, this is pi, this is 3 pi over 2, and this is 2 pi. Okay? So, for example, yung kaninang example natin, 5 pi over 6. So, alam ko lalat pa siya ng pi over 2. Pero hindi siya abot ng pi. So, alam ko nandito siya banda. Okay? So, mga ano lang, para mabilis mag-graph or magtingin. So, gamitin yung reference itong mga nandito. Okay. Let's answer the first one. Cosine 930 degrees. So, familiarize nyo na rin sa sarili sa 360, 720, 1080. Multiples ng 360. Kahit hanggang 3 lang. 930 less than 180. So, alam natin na 720 yung subtract natin dyan. Okay? So, cosine 900, cosine 930, that's equal to cosine 720 degrees plus 930 minus 720, 210 degrees. Okay? So, if we check that here, ang 210 natin would be somewhere here. Itong nasa taas, 180. So, 210 minus 180, ilan yon? That's 30 degrees. Okay, so ang reference angle natin here is 30 degrees. So, cosine 30, that's equal to square root of 3 over 2. Pero kung mapapansin nyo, nandito siya. And pagdating dito, positive or negative ang cosine? Negative. So, cosine 130 degrees is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay? How about this one?
Sagot ko po 1/2.
1/2. Okay, tingnan natin. Secant 10 pi over 3. This is equal to secant. Anong ginano dito? 2 pi plus? Ay, 2 pi ba?
Pi over 3.
Yeah, 6 over 3 plus 4 pi over 3. Asan yung 4 pi over 3? Lalagpas siya ng pi, tama? Kasi mas greater than 1 to. So, lalagpas siya ng pi. Andito yung pi natin. Pero hindi siya lalagpas ng 3 pi over 2. So, somewhere here lang. So, ito, this is 3 pi over 3. May iwan ka with pi over 3. Ito yung reference angle mo, pi over 3. Tama ba? Nakuha nyo guys, itong buo, 4 pi over 3. Minus yung pi dito, so that's minus 3 pi over 3. May iwan ka with pi over 3. Pi over 3 is 60 degrees. At tinatanong na sa atin is secant. Ano yung points natin dito? That would be negative 1/2 and negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay. Sorry. So dito guys, ang technique would be to get yung cosine muna. Cosine is cosine of 10 pi over 3. That would be yung x, so negative 1 over 2. Secant is what? Reciprocal nun. So reciprocal nito, that's equal to negative 2. Questions? Alam ko saan nanggaling to?
Pwede pong paulit yung kung paano ulihin natin yung 10 pi over 3.
Okay. Kasi yung goal mo, pag naghahati ka, this one is divisible by 2 pi, okay, or 360. So, by 2 pi. Kaya, 6 pi over 3. Sige, pwede di bang 3 pi? 3 pi plus pi over 3. Yan ba yung ginawa?
Pi over 3. Isa akin po ganyan.
Okay, kasi ito, pwede rin naman na ganito mo siya gawin, pero dapat, iti-take into account mo to kapag nag-graph ka. For example, pag nag-graph ka, 3 pi, so that's 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, nandito ka na, di ba? And then, pi
Opo.
over 3. Pwede rin. Okay, pero yung pinapoint out ko lang dito kasi, dinedivide natin siya into, para makuha natin yung terminal angle. Actually, yung thought process ko, ganito rin. Nagde-divide ako by 180. Bakit? Kasi, by 180 na ako nagde-divide or naghahati. Kasi nga, kapag nagsosolve ka naman, tinitingnan mo yung reference angle. Tama ba? Ito naman yung tinitingnan mo, right? Yung mga reference angle na yan. So, mas maganda rin kapag 180. Pero may iba kasing nalilito sila pagdating sa signs. Like, for example, kapag nakita ng iba na secant 3 pi plus pi over 3, nakalimutan nila i-consider yung 3 pi. Ang ginagawa nila, pi over 3 lang agad. Okay? Which is wrong, di ba? Kasi wala siya sa quadrant 1. Nasaan siya? Nandito siya dapat sa quadrant 3. So,
nawala.
ba yung sign? Nakuha ba? Pero as long as you understand, ay, nawawala ako. Clear na ba ako ulit?
Opo.
So, as long as you understand na you have to take this into account, pwede mo siyang isulat this way. Kasi mas madali nga naman, 3 pi plus pi over 3. Pero titingnan mo, saan ba huminto si 3 pi? Okay? Dito kasi, alam mo na always hihinto ka dito. Kaya ginagawang divisible by 2 pi para from here ka ulit magsisimula. So, depende lang siya kung paano mo i-flow sa utak mo. Pero technically, either way, tama siya. As long as ma-recognize mo kung saan yung tama niyang quadrant. Okay? Dapat consistent ka with everything. So, dito kasi, ito, 2 pi ito. So, alam ko always dito ako magsisimula. Para lang, may flow lang yung pag-solve. Like, for example, here, 720, that's divisible by 360. So, alam ko, umikot ako twice, then dito ako ulit magsisimula. Dito ako always nagsisimula. Pero, I understand your point kung bakit 3 pi yung sinusolve mo. Kasi para reference angle na agad yung nakukuha mo. Correct? Tama ba? Ano yung nakuha mo sagot kanina? Nabura ko ata.
Yung 1/2 lang po. Pero hindi ko po siya kinuha as second na kuha ko ata siya sa cosine lang po ata. Hindi ko kinuha reciprocal.
May per take note negative ha. Kasi nandito siya. Wala siya dito. Ito ba ginawa mo? Hindi naman. Ano yung tsura nung ano?
Katulad naman po nung ginawa niya. Kasi hindi ko lang po talaga nakuha kung ano yung katumbas niya.
Okay? So, okay lang naman na i-divide mo siya this way. Wala namang problema.
Ma'am, may tanong po uli ako. Di ba po 6 pi over 3? Tapos yung 10 po kasi dinivide siya by 2 pi. Hindi po siya naging 8 pi kasi kailangan divisible by 3 pa rin po yung nasa taas.
Kasi ito yung buong tinitingnan mo eh. Kasi pag mag-8 pi over 3 ka dyan, yung 8 pi over 3, nasan yun? 8 pi, somewhere here, 2/3. Mas mahirap siya. So, dapat, kumbaga ito, nasisimplify mo. Yung unang to, nasisimplify mo siya. Sige, ano pa tayo dito? Mag-exercise ng paghati lang. Sige.
Eh di kapag po naging over 4 po siya, ay pwede ba yung over 4?
Pwede. So, for example, sige, huwag na nating solve ha. Papakita ko lang kung paano nyo. You have 27 pi over 4. Okay, so identify nyo kung nasaan quadrant siya. Identify reference angle and quadrant. Kapag nagsasolve ka, ito kasi yung dalawang hinahanap mo. Reference angle. Okay, itong dalawa. Yan lang yung nagmamatter. So, here, pwede mo siyang gawin dalawang way. Okay, sige, tuturo ko na lang. Usually kasi yung ginagawa na hinahati siya by divisible by 2 pi plus something, okay, para consistent. Pero pwede rin naman na by pi. So, for example here, gawin muna natin itong 2 pi. This is divisible by 24 pi over 4.
4.
Plus, hindi divisible. Pwede mo siyang hatiin into 24 pi over 4 plus
3 over 4.
Tapos ito, equal siya sa 12 pi. Okay? Kasi, actually ito hindi mo siya ma-divide by, ito na lang rin yun. Ito na yung only option mo pala. Magbibigay pa ka ng isang example. Nakuha kung paano naman ito kinuha. So, hinati mo lang
Paano po naging 12?
Ha?
Yung 12 po, saan nanggaling?
Ito lang yan. 24 pi over 4 is equal to 12 pi. So, ibig sabihin, ilang ikot ka? 6, di ba? Nakuha ba? Sige, wait.
Apo.
Okay. So, 6 ka na ikot.
Ikot.
6 ka na ikot, tapos 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4 is somewhere here. Diba? Ito yung 3 pi over 4. Ang may iwan sa'yo dito is pi over 4. Alam ko paano nakuha na pi over 4? Kasi yung total nito is equal to what? 180 degrees or pi. Yan yung total. 180 degrees or pi. Sige. Para makuha mo yung difference, sine 25 pi over 4. Okay? Pwede mo siyang hatiin two ways.
20 over 4.
Pwedeng sine 21 pi over 4. Ay, sorry. 20 pi over 4 plus 5 pi over 4. Or, pwede ring sine 24 pi over 4 plus 1 pi. Ay, wait lang. Sandali, nawala yung point ko. Wait. Balita ko yung values. Ay, sorry. Alam ko na, mali pala yung sinasabi kong value. 24 times 4, that's equal to 8. Kaya ka ba nalilito kanina? Sorry. Okay. Ito yung kanina, no? Mali pala, hindi 12 pi. Ano ba hindi ako marunong mag-divide? Plus, okay. So, ito, yung tinuturo ko usually is this one. Bakit? Kasi ito, 20 pi over 4. Ay, sorry. Ang tinuturo ko is, wait lang, palitan natin yung values. Para, okay. Let's say 21 pi over 4. Yung iba, gagawin nila 20 pi over 4 plus 1 pi over 4. Pwede rin na 16 pi over 4 plus 5 pi over 4. Okay? Bakit pinaprefer ko itong nasa baba? Na ituro. Kasi kapag ganito, ilang revolutions meron ka dito? You have 16 pi over 4, that's 4 pi. Okay? Ito naman, that's equal to 5 pi. Tama? Ito 5 pi, ito 4 pi. So, ipag i-graph ko itong first part, 5 pi, that would be 1, 2, so 4 pi na yun.
Sa 180.
Oo, dito siya titigil, kumbaga. 1, 2, dito ka titigil. Okay? Tapos, saka ka magpo-continue ng 1 pi over 4. Okay? Ito naman, you have 4 pi. So, ibig sabihin, meron kang dalawang 2 pi. Or may dalawa kang ikot. After ng dalawang ikot, you have this one. 5 pi over 4, which is somewhere here. Yung iba, mas madali for them isipin this way. Yung iba, this way. So, bahala kayo kung anong method gagamitin nyo. Ito kasi...
Yung 1 pi over 4 po ba, important po ba na nilalagay pa yung 1? Or okay lang po kahit pi over 4?
Okay lang kahit wala na. Yung iba lang kasi nakakalimutan, yung, I don't know, madali lang isipin kasi 21. So, 20 and 1. Pero hindi naman kailangan. So, pareho lang dapat. Okay, itong buong to, that's 5 pi over 4. Ito, 1 pi over 4. Subtract mo yung 4 pi over 4, may iwan ka with pi over 4. So, pareho lang. Kaya lang hindi ko ito masyadong sinasuggest kasi yung iba, ang nangyayari, Pag nakita nilang 5 pi, iniisip nila 5 revolutions or 5 rotations. Tapos, ginaganito nila, pi over 4. Which is mali. Magkaiba sila, di ba? Ito nasa first quadrant, ito nasa third quadrant. And ito yung tama. Ito mali. Okay, so ito ano lang naman, error lang. Kasi yung iba, iniisip nilang 5 revolutions agad. Nakakalimutan nila na 2 pi yung buong ikot. So this is basically 2.5 na rotations. Tama. Nakuha niyo ba yun, guys? Yung difference nila. Pero pag nagsosolve kayo, dapat pareho yung makukuha nyo, ha? Nagkakamali lang kapag mali ka ng reference mo bale. Isipin nyo na lang, pag odd ito, magsa-start ka dito sa 180. Pag even, magsa-start ka sa 0. So, bahala kayo kung paano yung siya hatiin. Same lang yan sila. May questions pa ba or medyo nalito kayo? May questions
Okay
pa?
na po.
Okay na. Kylie.
Okay na po.
Sorry po sa madami tanong.
Okay lang. Tama yan. Ay. May time naman. Okay. Identities na ba? Okay. Ano po yung mga similar, mga problems na related to this? For example, if we have, ito medyo common to, madali lang. May reviewers ba kayo? Tapos napansin niyo ba kung maraming trig? Ang tagal ko na kasi nag-upcut, tapos parang sa amin kasi puro geometry talaga. And the batch before us. Pero I think ngayon marami ng trig and calculus. For example, if you have this one, paano lang ito i-solve? Okay? Mga ganun lang. Very easy na type. Like, if cosine theta is equal to 5 over 10, and sine theta is 8 over 10, what is tan theta? Tan theta is equal to sine theta. Ay, hindi ko pa pala nasabi to. Pero identity, tan theta is equal to sine theta over cosine theta. So 8 over 10 over 5 over 10. Or 8 over 5. Ano pa ba? Sige, try to answer this one. Sige, I'll give you 2 examples. Masyado madali. Ay, saglit lang. Kailangan nyo pala ng identities. Sige. Mag-identities muna tayo. Pero balikan natin yung mamaya. Actually, yung number 1 hindi masyado, pero baka lang malito. Okay. Ano, magsosolve na tayo ng mga bagay-bagay. Trigonometric identities. Okay? So, yung mga basic would be yung definition niya, yung SOHCAHTOA. So, define naman na natin kung ano yung sine, theta, etc., etc. Okay? So, tinan na lang natin yung mga ibang identities. Tan theta is equal to sine theta over cosine theta. And then, alam natin mga reciprocal lang yung 1 over secant theta. Sorry. Secant theta is equal to 1 over cosine theta. Okay, cosecant theta is equal to 1 over sine theta. And we have, so from here we have cotangent theta is equal to cosine theta over sine, sine theta. So kanina, di ba, we have this circle radius, we have point X and Y, right? So we have X squared plus Y squared is equal to R squared. The equation of circle, right? So if we divide both sides by R squared, we will get itong X squared, R squared plus Y squared, R squared equal to 1. Ano tong X squared over R squared? This is your cosine squared theta. Let's see. Plus Y squared over R squared, that's sine squared theta over sine squared theta. Kaya alam ko saan nanggaling to. Kasi di ba yung cosine natin is equal to X over R. Sine theta natin is equal to Y over R. Okay? Equal to 1. So guys, itong identity na to, from here, ang daming nakuha. So, sige, sulat muna natin dito. Ito actually mga tinatawag natin Pythagorean identities. Tama ba? Oh, Pythagorean identity. Okay, we have cosine. Mali yung iba, rearrange nila. Pareho lang naman yan. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equal to 1. Okay? If we divide this by sine squared theta, divide both sides, sine squared theta, sine squared theta. Okay? Magkakaroon tayo ng cosine squared theta over sine squared theta, which is just equal to secant squared theta plus sine squared theta over sine squared theta. This is just equal to 1. 1 over sine squared theta. That's equal to cosecant squared theta. Ay, wait lang, mali pala. Cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. This is cotangent squared theta. Square lang to. So, cotangent squared theta. Okay? So, yun yung ating next Pythagorean identity. We have cotangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared theta. Kaya ako kasi, may hirap talaga ako mag-memorize sa mga ganito. Like, for example, I try to memorize it. So, yung nangyayari is, akala ko memorize ko, tapos iba yung masusulat ko. Like, let's say, ilalagay ko dito cosine. So, ako, alam ko medyo time-consuming, pero for me, mas confident akong mag-derive always compared mag-umasa sa memory ko. So, I know that if I divide it by sine squared theta, makuha ko yung ganito. Pero better, guys, if you memorize. So, kasi syempre, exam yun. How about if we divide it by cosine squared theta? If we divide both sides by cosine squared theta, we have here cosine squared theta over cosine squared theta, that's equal to 1, plus sine squared theta over cosine squared theta, that's equal to tangent squared theta, 1 over cosine squared theta, that's equal to secant squared theta. Okay? So yun yung ating next na identity here. 1 plus tangent squared theta is equal to secant squared theta. So actually, nanggaling lang yan dito, which is nanggaling dito. Equation ng circle natin, divide both sides by r. Definition tapos ng cosine and sine. Okay? So ito guys, may memorize nyo dapat. What else? Odd and even identities. So, kung naalala nyo sa functions nyo, if you have this, ay sorry, mali. Let's say f of x is equal to x cubed, okay? F of negative x is equal to negative x cubed, which is just equal to negative x cubed. Tama ba? So we say na yung ganito is an odd function. Okay, kapag yung x mo ginawa mo lang negative, yung y mo, yung value ng y mo would just be negative of yung original. Okay? Even naman, kapag, for example, we have this one, if you square negative x, you will get x squared. So we say, itong function naman na to is an even function. Okay? So if we try to compare yung sine and cosine natin, so, nakalimutan ko yung mention to kanina. Ay, hindi, sinabi ko pala, positive and negative. If we have 30 degrees, okay, and negative 30 degrees, ano yung point natin dito? We have square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Ito naman, anong meron dito? Square root of 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. Okay? So, kung mapapansin nyo dito, ang theta natin is nag-negative lang. Sine 30, sine negative 30. This is equal to 1/2. Ito naman equal to negative 1/2. Correct? So we say, kung mapapansin nyo, na odd function ng ating sine. Kapag cosine naman, cosine 30, that's equal to square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of negative 30 is also square root of 3 over 2. Ito naman ay even function. So this gives us yung ating odd and even identities. We have sine of negative theta is equal to negative sine theta. Cosine negative theta will give us cosine theta. How about tangent? Tangent negative theta, since sine over cosine siya, we have negative tangent theta. Okay, so magpa-follow lang din yan. Yung cosecant negative theta, anong i-expect mo? It's equal to negative ng cosecant theta. Okay, how about yung secant? Secant negative theta, that's equal to negative secant theta. Okay, cotangent of negative theta, that's equal to negative cotangent theta. Okay, so actually kapag nag-simplify, usually ito lang yung medyo relevant. Pero ginagamit din naman. I mean, alalahanin nyo yun lahat. Pero mamaya, pag nag-simplify tayo ng expressions. Okay, so ngayon, lalatag ko lang muna lahat ng identities. Ano pa ba? Kanina remember yung sinabi kong kapag complementary, equal lang. So, state lang natin ulit. Kung function, co-function identity. So this means na yung sine and cosine natin or co-functions, ang secant and cosecant, tangent and cotangent. So ano ibig sabihin nun? We have sine pi over 2 minus theta is equal to cosine theta. Okay, so para lang maging masanay din tayo na may rad, pi over 2 that's just equal to 90. So ito lang rin yung kanina na 90 minus theta. So, ibig sabihin, kung yung nasa loob nito is complementary nung nasa loob ng cosine. So similarly, if we have cosine pi over 2 minus theta, that's equal to sine of theta. Okay, so we say itong sine and cosine are co-functions. So ganun lang rin for tangent and cotangent, secant and cosecant. Okay. Now, okay, magsagot pa tayo. Okay, so take note of this, guys. Yun lang naman lang. Meron pa. Mamaya na tayo mag-sum and double angle. Okay. If cosine is equal to 1/4 what is sine theta? Remember Pythagorean identities? Sine squared theta plus 1/4 squared theta is equal to 1. We know that this is 1/4. Ito yung hinahanap natin. Subtract 1/4 from both sides. We have 1 minus 1/4. 1/4 squared. So subtract 1 minus 1/4 squared. That's equal to 1 over 16. So sine squared theta is equal to 15 over 16. Square root of both sides. So take note, guys. Remember, kung napanood niyo sa radical expressions na lesson, if we have this is equal to plus minus x. Okay, pwedeng positive or negative yung x na nasa loob. So we have here sine theta is equal to plus minus nito. Plus minus square root of 15 over, ito pwede natin simplify yung nasa baba, over 4. Final answer is this one. Okay, questions muna bago tayo mag-proceed.
Wala na po.
Okay? So, pwede nyo rin siyang isipin as this is x, this is r. Makakuha nyo pa rin yung tamang sagot. Madali lang. Well, actually, hindi naman necessarily mas madali. If this is x, we have 16 minus etc. Okay? Then over 4. So, pwede nyo solve yung y from x and r. Yun yung ginagawa ko actually dati. Pero pwede rin. Okay, balikan natin yung kanina. Tapos, mag-simplify tayo. Yun yung medyo mahirap. Kumalabas pa. Nagsasagot pa kayo ng mock exams? Meron ba kayong mga trig na na-encounter and type of questions sa trigonometry? Sabihin nyo lang ha. If cotangent is equal to negative square root of 2 and cosine theta is positive, what is the value of sine theta? So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Saang quadrant negative si cotangent pero positive si cosine? That would be here. Okay, sa quadrant 4. So, ibig sabihin nandito yung somewhere here yung angle natin. Okay, ito yung terminal niya. So, ang sine theta natin is expected na negative 10. Cotangent theta is equal to cosine theta over sine theta. Sorry. Sorry. Ano na nga? Okay, sine theta yung hinahanap natin. If we're given with this one, remember that cotangent squared theta, wait lang. See, mas mabilis kapag alam niyo na agad. To get cotangent, I need to divide it by sine. Cotangent plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared theta. Okay, so ito yung gagamitin natin kasi kapag may cosecant squared tayo, makukuha natin itong si sine theta. So from here, cotangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to this. Ito yung susolve natin. Negative square root of 2 squared, okay, kasi cotangent theta yan. Ang meron tayo dito sa identity natin is cotangent squared theta. Plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared theta. Okay, so guys, pwede nyong palitan na to by 1 over sine squared theta. Cosecant squared theta is just equal to 1 over sine squared theta. Alam ko saan nanggaling to. Yung part na to. Pero sige, solve muna natin yung cosecant squared theta. Pwedeng i-substitute nyo na to dito. Pwedeng hindi. So let's say hindi natin muna i-substitute. Here we have negative square root of 2 squared. That's equal to 2 plus 1. Okay. Square root of both sides. So we have plus minus. Plus minus square root of 3 is equal to cosecant theta. Okay, pero alam natin nandito tayong quadrant. So ibig sabihin dito, ang ating sine and cosecant are both negative. Okay, so hindi na natin i-consider si positive. So we have negative square root of 3 is equal to cosecant theta. Ibig sabihin si sine theta, since this is equal to 1 over sine theta, okay, so for sine theta, ang sine theta natin is equal to, sige, sulat ko na lang. Negative square root of 3 is equal to 1 over sine squared theta, walang square. Sine theta is equal to negative 1 over square root of 3, rationalize. Okay, nakuha ba to? Or may questions?
Okay na po.
Okay lang. Okay. Ano pa ba yung kanina? Saan ba yung kanina exam? Okay, another example tayo. Okay. Okay, try to solve for this one. Given ka nito, ano yung identity mo na may relationship dito? So, yung mga pagpipilian mo lang niyan would be, dito common yung mga Pythagorean identities.
Cosine over sine. Okay, so anong gagamitin natin dito? This one. Okay, so we have 1 plus tangent squared theta equal to secant squared theta. Secant theta is equal to 2 square root of 3 over 3 square. Okay. Four times 3 over 9. Cancel, we have 4/3 here. Tangent squared theta is equal to 4/3 minus 1 or 1/3. Tangent squared theta is equal to 1/3, square both sides. So you have plus minus here, okay? Tangent theta, pero secant is positive, sine is, okay. Saan positive ang secant, that would be here or here.
Sine is negative, so dito. Sa third quadrant ulit tayo. Okay? Positive secant, pero negative na sine. So dito. So, ibig sabihin yung tangent and cotangent natin ay negative din. So yung negative na lang ito-consider natin dito. Negative square root of, simplify na natin to. That would be 1 square root of 3 rationalize. So that's negative square root of 3 over 3. Kaya yung tangent natin, we're looking for, actually, huwag na natin i-rationalize. Kasi hindi pa naman ito yung sinosolve natin. So guys, tip, kapag hindi pa final answer, huwag na muna kayo mag-rationalize, especially if magkukuha rin kayo ng reciprocal niya. Okay? So cotangent theta is equal to 1 over tangent theta. So reciprocal of this one, that's equal to negative square root of 3 over 1, or simply negative square root of 3. Tama ba? Pareho tayo na nakuha. Nakuha niyo sa to? Nakuha niyo ba?
Ako pa hindi.
Anong saan nagkamali? Baka may mali rin na. Baka may mali rin na. Anong ginawa niyo? Where does it make sense? Given ka ng secant, so secant squared. Makuha mo yung value ng tangent theta. Okay, and then may relationship tayo ng tangent and cotangent. Sorry. So we can solve for cotangent theta. Nahihirapan ba sa ganitong types of problems? Medyo?
Yes
Oo
po.
po, honestly.
Okay, so mag-solve tayo nito. Damihan pa natin.
Yes po.
Dito kasi guys, parang kailangan sarap pala, hindi ko binura. Okay. I-compare natin yung problem kanina para lang maintindihan niyo yung thought process ko ba. Sorry Okay, kanina yung problem natin, meron tayong given na cotangent. Yung nauna to. Tapos given tayo ng sine ng isa. Given tayo ng sine ng isa sa mga trigonometric functions natin. Okay? Usually, ganito yung format ng given. Okay? Kapag hindi ito given yung sign, ang nangyayari is dalawa yung sagot. We have positive and negative. Kasi kanina, di ba, pumipili lang ako. So if given to, pipili ka lang sa positive or negative based sa sign ng cotangent and cosine. Okay? Ano pa ba? Tapos ang hinahanap is value of sine theta. Ito yung kaninang problem, and another one is okay. Okay. So dito, ang una mo kasing gustong gawin is to identify kung nasan siyang quadrant. Okay? Kanina, remember, all students, lahat dito, positive. Okay? Dito, ano yung positive? Sine and cosecant. Okay? Dito naman, take, so tangent and cotangent. And then dito yung positive is cosine and secant. Okay? Negative yung ating cotangent. So, hindi dito. Positive yung ating cosine. Ay, mali pala ako. Kanina guys, dalawa yung possible value. Okay? Negative yung cotangent natin, so wala siya dito. Ito lang yung choices natin. Pero positive yung cosine. Positive yung cosine, so yung choices natin would be either here or here. Ibig sabihin, sorry, dalawa pala yung sagot dito. Either nandito or nandito. Okay? Sorry. So, kanina pala, yung plus-minus, i-carry natin yung plus-minus. So, anyway, isolve muna natin. So, paano yung thought process ko dito? Given ako ng cotangent, eto guys, relevant lang to para malaman nyo kung nasang quadrant siya. Pag na-identify nyo na kung saan quadrant, huwag nyo na siyang i-mind. Okay? Cotangent and sine, yun yung given tayo. Since given ka ng cotangent, ang sure na gagamitin mo is yung Pythagorean identities. Kasi yung cotangent and sine mo, hindi naman sila reciprocal ang isa't isa. So, pipili ka lang dun sa dalawa. Di ba we have cotangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared theta. And the other one is 1 plus tangent squared theta. Medyo mahirap siya kapag hindi nyo pa na-memorize kasi syempre, saan nyo naman bubunutin, di ba? Okay? So, ito yung pipiliin ko kasi 1, siya yung may cotangent. Okay? So actually, ganun lang yun. Kung ano yung given, yun yung pipiliin mong equation. Identity. Ano yung isa pang identity? Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta. Okay? Di ba kanina may madali lang? Given tayo, may isa pa palang problem kanina. Yung given tayo ng cosine, may value, tapos may sine tayo ng ating sine. Sine ng ating sine, tapos pinapahanap sa ating yung sine. Given tayo nito, ito yung wala tayo. Since given ka ng cosine, ano dyan yung merong cosine? This one. So ito yung gagamitin mo, identity. Okay? So going back here, cotangent ang given ka, so ito yung gagamitin mo, identity. Right? Yun yung gagamitin mo dito. Okay? And then, hindi mo agad masasolve si sine. Okay? Pero masasolve mo si cosecant. Eh, ano nga sabi natin? Ano yung another set of identities natin? Sine is equal to 1 over cosecant. Cosine is equal to 1 over secant. And then, tangent is equal to 1 over cotangent. So from here, since nakuha natin si cosecant, from here, masasolve natin si sine. Okay, pagdating naman dito, given ka ng secant. So, anong gagamitin mo? Ito, kasi siya yung may secant. Okay, and then masasolve mo si tangent theta. Pero hindi siya yung tanong. Ito ba tanong ko kanina? Ay, ano yung tanong ko dito? Cotangent pala, sorry. Tama, di ba? Given ka ng secant, so makukuha mo si tangent. Okay? May relationship ka ni tangent and cotangent, given ito. So, masasolve mo si cotangent. Okay? So, pwede rin na yung tanong is tangent theta. Okay? So, ito lang yung kailangan mo. Hindi mo na kailangan ito. Kumbaga, ayan. Okay? Yan yung mga ginamit natin.
Ma'am,
So,
excuse me po.
nakuha na. So, basically, itong dalawang to, gagamitin mo lang siya to check yung quadrant. Okay? Now, i-check natin yung quadrant nito. Positive si secant, so ang choices natin would be here or here. Okay? Pero negative si sine. So, either ito or ito rin pala. Okay? Now, ang sinasolve natin dito is si cotangent theta. So, dito positive si cotangent theta, dito negative. So, plus minus pa rin pala. Sorry, disregard yung sinabi ko kanina pagpili. So, dito rin, plus minus rin. Consider mo both. Okay? However, what if ito yung given? Isa pa tayo. Okay, and then given ka that okay, what if given ka naman ito? Secant is positive. So either here or here. Pero given tayo that sine is positive. Positive ba si sine dito? Hindi. So only choice lang natin is this one. Nasa quadrant 1. Okay? At sa quadrant 1, positive or negative si tangent?
Positive.
Positive. So positive yung na-expect natin na sagot. What if here ang given is negative si sine? Pag negative si sine, ang mangyayari naman is nandito tayo sa baba. Okay? And here, si tangent is Positive. Ay, sorry. Here ang tangent natin is negative na. Okay? So what if ang hinahanap natin is cosine? Anong sign ni cosine dito?
Positive.
Positive. So positive yung magiging sagot natin. So yung mga ganito, and ito, check mo for the quadrant. Okay? Then kung anong hinahanap, based on, check mo kung anong sign. Okay? Tapos ito, kung anong given, edi syempre, work with what you have. Okay? For example, here, kung cosine yung hinahanap and given ka ng secant, ito lang agad yung gagamitin mo. Correct? Pero pag tangent yung hinahanap mo, given ka ng secant, ito yung gagamitin mo. Okay? So, I suggest when you're studying trig, kapag nagsosolve kayo, hayaan nyo na may ganito kayo sa gilid. Okay? Kasi mas magandang pinapractice nyo yung speed ng pag-analyze nyo rather than, sorry?
Sorry po, kasi bigla po nawala. Paano po ulit malalaman kung anong pipiliin na gagamitin?
Dito?
Opo.
Ito, given ka ng secant, hinahanap mo cosecant. So, dapat, gagamit ka ba ng mga ganito? Hindi na. Okay? Meron ka lang ng ganito, cosecant and secant. May direct relationship sila. Okay? Tangent and secant. May direct relationship din sila gamit itong identity na to. Okay? Versus here, secant ang given, cotangent ang hinahanap. Wala kang direct relationship. So, you need to use two identities. This one first to get yung tangent. Kapag may tangent ka na, may relationship sila ng cotangent. So, ito lang. Okay? So, guys, kapag nagpa-practice kayo ng trig on your own, hayaan nyo may cheat sheet kayo. Okay? Kasi gusto nyo i-practice din yung speed ng pag-analyze nyo. Kasi eventually, kakasolve nyo, mamimemorize nyo to. Okay? Huwag nyo munang i-restrict yung sarili. Ako kasi na-memorize ko na lang sila dahil kakasolve. Pero pag nag-solve talaga ako, meron akong cheat sheet parate. Pag nag-aaral ako on my own, kasi hindi ako magaling mag-memorize. So, aalala ko siya through practice. Hindi ko siya kayang parang babasahin po tapos apply. Mahirap yun, I think.
Bali po, ma'am, yung titignan lang dito is yung given, yung may given po, tsaka yung hinahanap.
Oo.
Tapos po, yung nasa gitna, ang role lang po niya para malaman kung ano yung sign nung hinahanap.
Kung anong quadrant ka.
Okay po.
Sige, try nyo mag-solve ha. Bibigay ako. So guys, minsan, wala siyang given, kunwari, wala siyang given na sign whatever. Sign is greater than. Kung walang given na ganito, edi tingnan nyo kung ano lahat na nag-a-apply. Actually, ibig sabihin lang nun, positive and negative agad. Okay, ano ba mga binigay ko kanina? Okay. Sige. Para isang problem lang. Pwede magtanong kayo sa kapag nasa stock. Kapag na-stock kayo, magtanong lang. Kasi gusto kong matry nyo na makuha nyo talaga hanggang dulo. So, okay lang magtanong midway. At least na-exercise natin yung thought process. Ang bagal na talaga ng internet natin.
Ma'am,
Ay, yes?
bali, di si cosecant po tsaka si sine, wala silang direct relationship. Bali, dalawa po yung gagamitin.
Sorry, sino?
Si cosecant tsaka si sine.
Cosecant yung given, ah.
Opo.
Cosecant and sine, meron na agad, di ba? Tama?
Yung
Cosecant and sine?
yung ano po, cosecant is equals to 1 over sine.
Yun lang yun. Kasi pwede mo rin itong pagbaliktarin eh.
I'm sorry, di ko talaga makuha kung ano pong yung gagamitin.
Okay lang. Ito na-solve nyo na. Sige, analyze na natin together. Sin theta, makasolve siya using 1 over
Cosecant.
theta. So, okay na to. Makuha to agad.
Opo.
Tama? Okay. Tangent theta. Given ka na cosecant. Ito, walang direct. Tama? Kasi wala ka namang equation na makikita na may cosine, na may cosecant and tangent. Pero, yung tangent and cotangent are related. So here, dalawa yung gagamitin mo. First, you will use cotangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared theta. Makuha mo si cotangent. And then after that, ang next mong gagamitin would be ito. Tangent is equal to 1 over. Okay? And then here, since nakuha mo na si tangent from the previous problem, you can use this one. Tama ba? To get secant theta. Okay? Nakuha ko saan to galing? Kasi si tangent theta, sinolve mo na sa unang problem. So, gagamitin mo yon to get si secant theta. Okay. What's another way to solve this? So actually, kaya ako pinapakita ganito kasi gusto kong i-exercise yung mind yun na ginagamit tong mga identities. Pero you can also try to use, okay, remember yung mga definition natin kanina. We have sine is equal to y over r, etc., etc. So yung cosecant natin is actually r over y. Okay? R is equal to 3 and 2 is equal to y. Anong ating x? X is equal to 9 squared minus 4 or square root of 5. Now you can use this to solve for everything. Nainis ba kayo? Okay, tangent theta is equal to y over x, so that's 2 square root of 5. Okay, but alam natin na nandito siyang quadrant, and dito negative siya dapat. Okay, so we have negative 2 square root of 5. Rationalize this one, ang makukuha natin is negative 2 square root of 5 over 5. Okay? How about this one? Okay, wait, sulat ko na lang rin dito. This is y over x. How about secant? That's r over x. Tama? R natin is 3. Ang x natin is, diba? Square root of 5. And alam natin dito, negative din. So, ang final answer natin dito is negative 3 square root of 5 over 5. Okay? So, you can just do this one. Mas madali, di ba?
Ma'am, yung sa letter A po, ano lang siya, positive lang yung sagot.
Positive. Kasi di ba dito, positive din naman yung sign natin. Positive yung cosecant.
Oo.
So, yung pinaka-challenge dito actually is to identify kung saan quadrant and to identify kung ano yung mga nagpo-positive dito and nag-negative dito. Again, ano lang yung positive dito? Positive sign and positive cosecant. Okay?
Yung sa letter B po, mali po ako nang nakuha kasi ito pong in-square yung 3 over 2. Ang naging sagot ko po is 9 over 4.
Yun yung sagot mo sa buong ito? Or dito?
Hindi po. Sagot ko sa tangent. Mali po talaga siya kasi naka-square root yung denominator.
Tama
Pero
na.
sa solution pa lang po, mali na ako.
Dito, hindi mo ito nakuha? Nakuha mo?
Yung 9 over 4 po, nakuha po.
Pero
Tapos,
1.
opo, minus ko po yung 1. Naging 8 over 4.
9 over 4 minus 1.
Opo.
And 1 magiging 4 over 4. Remember, kapag nagsasubtract ng fraction, dapat pareho ng denominator. So, we have 9 minus 4 over 4. Okay? Pero guys, ito na lang gawin nyo. Mas madali. Identify na ito ay r over y. Okay? From the definitions. Sige, ililista ko na din. Pag sine, that's y over r. Cosine, x over r. Tangent, that's y over x. Cosecant, that's r over y. Secant, that's r over x. Okay, and cotangent, that's x over y. Okay? So, kunwari, given ka nito, numerator, denominator. Pero minsan, guys, baka magulat kayo na yung given is like 0.13. Okay, pwede mo siyang gawing 13 over 10. Okay, or pwede rin, gamitin mo to, solve mo using this one. Pero I guess mas madali pa rin kapag ganito, diba? Kunwari lang kapag fraction yung given sa'yo. Okay, sige, one more and then try nyo yung ganitong method. Yung yung shortcut.
Ano lang po, tanong ko lang po. May ano po ba, may possibility po ba na yung ibigay na tanong is naka-radian?
Dito, pwede. Okay, pero iisipin mo siya as a whole number. For example, ang given dito is cosecant theta is equal to pi. Okay, iisipin mo na yung value niya is 3.14 dot dot dot. Actually, imposible pala. Kasi hindi naman siya, ay hindi, tama. Pwede pala kasi cosecant eh. Pero imposible na sine theta is equal to, isipin ko lang. Yeah. Imposible na sine theta is equal to pi kunwari. Bakit? Sige, didiscuss ko ngayon. Graphing tayo. Huwag na muna kayo mag-solve. Mamaya na ulit tayo mag-solve. Kasi sa next part, kailangan natin yung domain and range ng trigonometric functions natin. So, i-graph natin sila. Familiar ba kayo sa itsura ng mga sine and cosine? Or medyo hindi? Familiar ba?
Anong sign po?
I mean yung graph
Yung
ng
kung
sine,
positive.
cosine.
Hindi.
Okay.
Ako po hindi.
So, kapag babalikan natin yung unit circle natin kanina, and then pag isa-solve natin, isa-isa, lahat ng angles natin. So, let's say, 30 degrees, pi over 6. Lahat to, kapag sinolve natin yan, tapos, i-graph natin siya wherein yung wait lang. Okay. Negative 1 and 1. Tapos meron tayo dito. Okay. Ito yung x natin. Ang nasa x-axis natin would be yung theta. Ay, sorry. Sulat na lang natin this way. Ito yung graph ng ating y is equal to sine x. Okay? Yung theta natin is yung x. So, remember, ano yung ating sine 0 degrees? Sine 0 degrees natin, nandito. So, ang x natin is 1, ang y natin is 0. So, ang sine 0 degrees natin is 0, right? So, nandito tayo. Okay? How about dito sa pi over 2? Or sa 90 degrees? Meron tayong ditong 0, 1. Tama? So, ang ating sine 90 degrees or sine pi over 2, that's equal to 1. Okay? Ano naman yung ating sine pi? Ang sine pi natin equal to 0.
180 degrees.
This is 180 degrees. So, ang sine 180 degrees natin is 0.
0.
How about this one, yung sine 270 degrees natin, or yung nandito. Sine d pi over 2. This is equal to negative 1. Pagdating dito, ano yung expect natin na value ng sine pi? Sine 2 pi. It's equal to 0, right? Tapos kung isa-solve natin yung mga values ng pi over 6, it's somewhere here. Yung ating pi over 4, nandito banda. Okay, and then yung pi, yan yung mga, in-approximate ko lang. Okay, papakita ko lang na yung value dapat is, meron tayong ganitong wave. Okay? So from here, so guys, hindi lang to ganito ha, tuloy-tuloy yan. Meron din dito, okay, sa negative pi. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Okay? Pero usually ito lang yung tinitingnan natin, yung nasa 0 to 2 pi. Pero since tuloy-tuloy yan, ang domain nito are what? All real numbers. Okay? Ano naman yung range natin? Range is yung value ng y. Okay? So we have 1 to, or negative 1 to 1. So we have negative 1 to 1. Okay, how about for cosine? For cosine naman, again, isa-substitute lang natin isa-isa ulit. We have 0, pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Dito, at cosine 0, we have 1. At cosine pi over 2 naman, we have 0. Cosine pi, we have negative 1. 0 at cosine 3 pi over 2, and 1 at cosine 2 pi. So, itsura ng graph natin dito would be ganyan. Okay? So, tuloy-tuloy lang din yan. Ang domain natin dito is real numbers pa rin, and ang range din natin is negative 1 to 1. Okay? So, hindi ko alam kung merong, wala naman sigurong graphing. Aralin ba natin? No. Meron pa tayong 50 minutes. Napapansin niyo ba kung may graphing? Hindi ko alam kung worth it. Naanoyin natin ito dito. Kailangan nyo lang i-note dito would be, actually yung domain and range. Okay? Domain and range ng sine and cosine, pareho lang. All real, and then negative 1 to 1 yung value. Okay? How about yung tangent natin? Ang tangent natin, ang itsura niya. So guys, ito lang yung mga sinusolve na value kanina. Pinlot lang siya, wherein yung x-axis mo would be yung theta mo. Okay? And then ito yung value ng trigonometric function mo. Let's say, in this case, sine. So sine theta yung y mo. Okay? Yan lang yung mga graphs na to. Sige, dadaanan ko lang to para hindi gano'n kasaya yung oras natin. Okay. So remember kanina sa tangent natin, di ba may mga undefined tayo? Nasaan yung undefined natin? Undefined tayo at pi over 2. Basically, kung saan nagzi-zero si cosine. Doon din siya undefined. And doon yung ating tinatawag na asymptotes. So, dito, hindi tumatama yung graph ni tangent. So, ganyan yung itsura ng graph ni tangent. Siyempre, tuloy-tuloy lang din yan. So, y is equal to tangent x. Ang domain natin dito is all real except x such that x is not equal to, so dapat hindi siya equal sa, kailan hindi? Tuwing merong pi over 2. Tuwing may butal ka. So that's k pi over 2. Kung saan yung k is odd. Nakuha ba kung bakit odd? Kasi kapag 2 pi over 2 yan, babagsak siya sa pi. Eh yung pi naman natin is defined. So part siya ng domain. So ito lang. Kapag hindi equal sa k pi over 2, where k is odd number, valid si tangent natin. Ano yung range natin this time? So guys, ito, infinite lang yan. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. So ang range natin here is all real.
Real numbers.
Okay? So, ilagay natin si so, remember guys, yung cosecant natin is just 1 over sine, di ba? Okay, so if you have y is equal to cosecant x, ito lang siya, yung nandito. So, yun yung graph niya. Tuloy-tuloy lang din yan. Okay? So, ang domain natin dito, ano yung domain natin this time? All real except when x, or dapat x is not equal to, tinan nyo, pi, 2 pi, so, k pi. 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, and so on. Okay, so for all multiples of pi. And ano naman yung range natin dito? Ang range natin dito is all real, pero hindi kasama itong between -1 and 1. So, meron tayo, barihin ko na lang ito. Meron tayo dito, kasama ba si 1? Kasama siya, okay? So, we have open or parenthesis, negative infinity to -1, kasama, so bracket, union, kasama si 1 hanggang positive infinity, parenthesis. Okay? Nakuha ko saan ito galing? Para hindi makasama yung nasa gitna. So, negative infinity hanggang kay -1. Okay? And then 1 to positive infinity. Hindi kasama yung sa gitna pag cosecant. Okay? How about here? So, remember, yung ating secant naman is 1 over cosine. Parang same lang din. Sorry, pinagpatong-patong ko na. Nakikita ba? Here? Asymptote niya to. Okay? Here. So, imagine niyo kamukha lang sila, di ba? Nag-shift lang siya, kumbaga. Sige, lilitan ko mamaya. Sige, papakita ko na lang dito, tapos lilitan ko. Okay, cotangent naman, we have this one. Ay, sobra. Okay? Sige, summarize ko yung mga domain and range sa isang table. Bubarayin ko na lahat, ha? Masyadong dami na. Kailangan nyo ma-familiar yung mga domain and range, guys, kapag nagsusolve for theta or x, lalo kapag mas mahirap. Kasi kailangan nyo, kailangan na siya. So, sige. Okay. I always like to have a rough idea ng itsura niya. Okay, so here I have, ganito. So take out guys, 0 to 2 pi lang yung kinonsider ko dito. Pero tuloy-tuloy yan. Okay? Nag-extend yan on both sides. Tangent. Nakita ba? Cosecant. Asymptote niya to, yung x-axis. Take note, ito patay sa 1, negative 1. Ganun din dito. 1, negative 1. 1, negative 1. Dito naman, we have here, okay? Ganyan yung itsura. So for me, mas madali kapag na-imagine ko ganito kasi naalala ko, cosine 0 is 90 agad. Cosine 0 is 1 kasi dito siya nag-start. Sine 0 is 0 kasi dyan siya nag-start. So bahala na lang kayo kung paano nyo gagamitin or i-relate. Pero ako, I like to know yung rough na itsura. Okay, domain here, all real except x is equal to pi over 2 yung mga nandito, di ba? So we have k pi over 2, k is odd. Ay, nakain niya na yung sa baba. Okay, dito naman, ano yung domain natin dito? Ano yung sinulat ko kanina? All real except ganito na lang. So dito, all real except when k is equal to x is equal to k pi over 2 where k is odd. How about here? All real except when k is equal to k pi. Okay? Pi yung ano natin dito. Asymptotes niya. So k is any integer. symbol for integer, z. How about here? Ating domain is not equal to k pi over, pareho sila nung sa tangent, over 2. K is 1. Dito naman, pareho sila sa cosecant. K is an element of integers. Na-imagine ba? So maganda kapag may visual kasi parang hindi na kailangan i-memorize this way. Nabubunot nyo yung idea from your imagination, quote and quote. Range. Range here is -1 to 1. How about here? Pareho lang. -1 to 1. Here, ang range natin is all real. Cosecant, ang range natin dito would be -infinity up to -1, included yung -1, and or 1 up to positive infinity. Ganun din for secant. And lastly, we have this one, all real. May questions ba dito, guys? Or naiintindihan kung saan to hinugot? Kung paano yung imaginein? Pagdating sa mga range and domain. Sige, inaral nyo ba nung high school yung translation?
Ano po?
Inaral? Okay, so kapag nagtatranslate ka ng graph, ito yung general mo na equation. You have, ay sayang, hindi natin matata. Any trig function to Okay, so ano ibig sabihin nito? Isa-isahin natin. Itong D, kapag positive siya, magta-translate upwards. So, kunwari, if this is 5, that means 5 units up. So, if you have 5 plus sine theta, ito, instead of nasa 0, nasa 5 ka. Okay, so you have this one. So, ang magiging range mo, if this is 5, would be 6 to 4. Or 4 to 6 ang iyong range. Okay, na-imagine? So, yun lang ibig sabihin nun. Kapag negative yan, pababa. Okay, shift downwards. How about this plus minus? So, actually, itong plus minus, tinitingnan natin yung sign no. Ito, okay? So, for example, if we have ito, cosine theta, ito yung graph niya, okay? Pag negative yan, magiging ganun, okay? So, ito yung negative cosine x. Ito naman si cosine x. So, yun lang yung tinitingnan ng sign na to, okay? If negative, flip. How about this one? Ano naman itong A? Yan yung amplitude. So, ang amplitude ng sine and cosine natin, so guys, sa sine and cosine na to, pero, mas madali lang siya ipakita sa sine and cosine, pero actually nag-a-apply to yung transformations na to sa lahat ng ating trigonometric functions. But for example, ang sine and cosine, ang kanyang amplitude is equal to 1, right? So if we have 2 sine theta, ang mangyayari sa amplitude niya ay double. So, instead of itong original, ang mangyayari would be, okay, magiging ganyan. Wherein ito is 2 and ito naman is negative 2. Pag, kunwari, 1/4 cosine theta, ano mangyayari? Magiging 1/4 no 1 yung amplitude. So, magiging ganito siya. Okay? But take note na ito, 2 sine x. So, yun yung mga transformation niya. Ito, amplitude. So, kapag whole number siya, kapag greater than 1, stretch pag ganon. Pag less than 1, compress ba? Basta bababa yung peak mo. Okay? Ano naman ito? Ito yung medyo, hindi naman complicated. Pero, this one is your frequency. And at the same time, naapektuhan niya yung period. So, let's say, ang frequency natin is 2. So, cosine 2 pi. So, take note guys na ito, isang wave to. Ang mangyayari kapag maging cosine 2 pi is that, sige, dito na lang. If ito yung original, sine na lang para mas madaling tingnan. Okay, sine 2 pi, ang mangyayari kapag meron kang sine 2 pi is dodoble yung frequency mo. So, sa 2 pi, meron kang isang wave. Ngayon, magiging dalawang wave na per 2 pi. So, here we have, okay, 1, 2. Magkakaroon ka ng 2 waves sa 2 pi mo. Kasi dodoble yung frequency mo. If mag-double yung frequency mo, ano mangyayari sa period mo? Ang period natin dito is 2 pi, correct? Meron tayong isang wave sa 2 pi. Made-divide siya by the frequency B. So here, since originally, ang period is 2 pi, okay, pero may multiplier tayo na 2, so maging period na natin yun is pi, which is ito, kung nakikita niyo. Okay? So kapag tumaas yung frequency, bababa yung period. So kapag ito naman is kunwari 1/4, tataas naman yung, kunwari 1/4 yung B natin, ang mangyayari sa period natin would be 4 times. Okay, so magsi-stretch out siya. Gusto ko pang mag-expand on this. Okay. How about this last one? Itong plus C. Ito naman yung shift ng left or right. Wait lang. Gawin na lang natin positive para mas consistent. So, kapag positive yung C natin, to the left. Okay? Pag negative, to the right. Medyo baliktad siya sa usual na nakasanayan. Pag positive, to the left siya. Pag ito, to the right. So, kung mapapansin niyo dito, yung sign natin, remember kanina yung identity natin na we have sine, theta, sige ba na lang, theta plus 90 degrees. So, kapag inusog ko to, 90 degrees papunta dito, ang mangyayari would be, originally I have this one, mag-a-add ako ng plus 90 degrees. So, ibig sabihin, 90 degrees to the left or pi. Mag-shift ako ng pi. Ito, mamamove dito. Kakaroon ako ng ganito. Okay? So, mga shifting lang yan. Familiarize na yung sarili nyo in case lumabas sa exam. Pero medyo, I doubt But guys, make sure na alam nyo talaga yung range ng mga different trigonometric functions. Okay, ano na tayo, expressions. Simplifying. Na-try nyo ba mag-simplify ng trigonometric expressions? Sige.
Hindi po.
Examples mo. Okay. Burahin ko na to ah. If may specific yung gustong isolve natin today, as in like may problem kayo on hand, go lang ah, sabihin nyo lang. Okay. Simplify this one. So, usually ako pag nakakakita ko na ganito, ang una kong ginagawa is, kino-convert ko silang lahat into an expression na sine and cosine lang. Okay? For example, this one, cosecant. How do I express that in terms of either or both of this? Cosecant equal lang yan sa 1 over sine theta. Correct? How about tangent theta? Tangent theta is equal to sine theta over cosine theta. How about this one? Yan na yun. Okay, kasi cosine na siya. Now we can simplify. Magka-cancel yung sine. Cosine, magka-cancel. May iwanan tayo with cosine theta. Okay? Dali lang to. May questions ba here? Wala naman, di ba? Now, how about this one? Okay, so minsan guys, hindi theta yung ginagamit na variable x. Pero ganun lang rin yun. Pareho lang yun na. Pinalitan ko lang yung variable. Okay, so if maalala nyo, familiar ba to? 1 plus tan squared theta. Sa mga identity natin.
Opo, second.
Okay, good. Over cosecant x as, tapos ang ginagawa ko dito, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, convert to cosine or sine. This one is equal to 1 over cosine squared x. Tama? How about this one? 1 over sine squared x. Simplify ito. Times. Kinuha ka na yung reciprocal, kaya ako minultiply. Okay? So this is equal to sine squared theta over cosine squared theta. Ay, cosine squared x. Sorry. Ano to?
Tangent.
Tangent squared x. Okay, don't forget yung x, yung squared, kasi naka-square sila pareho. So guys, naka-square to kasi dalawa sila naka-square. Kung isa lang yung naka-square, for example, hindi mo basta-basta magaganito. For example, what if we have okay, how about this one? 1 plus cotangent squared theta, this is equal to cosecant squared theta over sine theta. What is this equal to? Oops. 1 over sine squared theta over sine theta. Or 1 over sine squared theta times
Sine squared. Ay, sine theta.
okay? So guys, minsan ganito yung sagot, pwede ito yung nasa choices or pwede rin na ito yung nasa choices. Okay? Ay, skip. Okay, example pa tayo. Yung naman choice. Sige. Tinan nyo, kung hawak nyo yung cheat sheet nyo, ano yung makukuha nyong identity dito? Ano yung medyo familiar? Ano mangyayari sa dalawang yan?
Magiging 1.
Okay, if we rearrange this, pagtatabi ko lang sila para mas halata. Wala akong ginawang iba, i-arrange ko lang, pinagsama ko lang sila. Okay, Pythagorean identity natin, this is just equal to 1. Okay, so magkakaroon tayo ng 1 plus tangent squared x over, okay, this is equal to what?
Second. Second squared x.
This is equal to, okay, yan na yung ating final answer. Ano pa examples? Okay. Marami, napapansin niyo ba kung may mga ganito sa mock exams?
Parang meron po ata ako nasagutan na isa.
So yung mga next example na to, actually, tingnan ko kung ilan yung meron. From mock exams, na free mock exams, so wala akong masyado, usually 3 to 5, actually 2 to 3 items lang yung trig, pero syempre, every point counts, so ito yung mga problems na nakita ko. Hindi na tayo nakapag-equation. Okay, how about this one? Ay, kailangan ba na ibang identity? Okay. Okay? Hiniwalay ko lang sila. Tama? Pwede yun, di ba? Kasi isa lang yung factor sa baba. Cancel, cancel. This is equal to what? 1 over sine squared theta. That's equal to
Cosecant.
minus, ito ay cotangent squared theta. Okay, this is equal to what? Remember this identity? We have this one, right? Meron tayong ganyan. Familiar ba?
Opo.
Okay? So, kung i-rearrange natin to,
-1.
so ibig sabihin, this one is just equal to -1. Okay? Meron pa ba ditong similar? Wala. Usually, actually, wala masyadong simplifying and siguro may lalabas isa niyan. Isa or most likely isa, tapos the other would be yung pag... Saan yung erase? So now, mag-solve tayo ng trigonometric equations. But before that, mauna ba yung inverse trig? Saglit lang. When solving for trigonometric equations, kailangan ma-practice yung inverse trig. Mamaya, i-discuss pa natin yung other properties nito. Pero for now, since usually naman kapag trig sa college entrance test, ang mga lumalabas ay yung mga typical na 30 degrees, etc. So for example, we know cosine 30 is equal to square root of 3 over 2. Tama? Pagdating sa inverse trig, baliktad naman yung hinahanap. Okay, dito, given tayo nito, sinusolve natin ito. So, from theta, we solve for x. Okay? So, minsan naman, hinahanap ang theta. Here, we're given with x, and we're solving for
Ma'am,
theta.
excuse me po. Si Kylie po na wala daw po siya.
Ay,
Nag-chat po siya sa messenger.
okay. Ano sabi niya? Alis na ba siya or... Sige, i-cut natin dito. Ikaw ba magko-continue ka on trig or another topic? Nakalimutan ko. Another topic ka ba? Parang... Actually, sige, ililesson ko na lang din to sa e-school sa lahat. Pero ikaw ba, magko-continue ka ng trig or new topic ka? Or different topic?
Okay lang po sa trig po muna.
Sorry, hindi ko narinig.
Okay lang po, natuloy-tuloy na lang po muna.
Okay, so, wait, tanungin natin si ano kung doon. I don't think, baka hindi naman niya i-mind. Okay, so, inverse trig, so, kung kanina yung mga sinusolve natin is cosine theta, then ito yung unknown, right? Pagdating naman sa inverse trig, we have arcsine, palitan ko na lang. We have arcsine or sine raised to negative, okay, of x. Dito, ang sinusolve natin would be yung theta or yung angle na magbibigay sa atin ng value na x. So here we have given theta, we're solving for x. Here we're given with x, we're solving for theta. So for example, we know, kaya na sinabi ko kanina, cosine 30, alam natin this is equal to square root of 3 over 2, correct? Yung application ng inverse trig would be kapag given ka naman ito. Cosine or arcsine or cosine raised to negative 1 of square root of 3 over 2, we know that this is equal to 30 degrees. Tama? Pero 30 degrees lang ba? Ano pa? Remember, this one. Okay. Dito ano nga, meron tayong square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Tama? Okay? 30 lang ba ang value ng arc sine of square root of 3 over 2? Hindi. Kasi, if you can recall, yung angle natin dito, okay, which is 330, will also give us a reflex angle na 30. Okay? And, ang points natin dito is square root of 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. So, kung makikita mo, cosine of 30 degrees and cosine of 330 degrees will both give us square root of 3 over 2. So, ang sagot natin dito is square root of 3 is 30 degrees and 330 degrees. Question?
Wala po.
Okay? So, paano naman kapag sine?
Nakabalik na po si Kylie.
Ha? Yeah, nakita.
Nakabalik.
Sine 30 degrees is equal to 1/2. Tama? Okay? Sine inverse of negative 1/2. Ay, of 1/2. That would be this one. And then, saan pa? Kung isipin mo, somewhere dito, meron ka rin na square root of 3 over 2, pero negative na, and then 1/2. Okay? So, parehong 1/2 yan. So, this is equal to, kung 30 ito, 30 din itong reflex angle. Ano yung standard angle natin dito? That would be 180 minus 30 or 150 degrees. Okay? So, kung titignan mo, kapag sa cosine, yung tinitingnan mo would be yung mirror niya sa baba. Okay? Kapag naman sine, yung titingnan mo yung mirror niya sa left or right. So, kumbaga, kapag sine yung tinitingnan mo along this one, okay, dalawa. And then, kapag cosine, along this one naman. Okay? Okay. Kapag tangent naman, ang tinitingnan mo would be yung nandito and nandito. Magkaganon din sila. Okay? Or ito and yung nandito. So, for example, if we have this one, tangent 30 degrees, that's equal to square root of 3. Tama? Ay, sorry. Square root of 3 over 3. Correct? Yun, if we're given with tangent inverse 30 degrees, ay, sorry. Tangent inverse square root of 3 over 3, ito lang ba yung magbibigay sa atin? Ito lang ba? 30 degrees lang ba? Hindi. Pati yung nandito. Since nandito siya, yung other na titingnan mo would be yung nasa ka-opposite niya here. So, ano yung angle dito? Dapat yung reflex niya is 30 din. 30 plus 180. So, here we have 30 degrees and 210 degrees. Kaya yung magbibigay sa atin ng tangent square root of 3 over 3. So, yung iba, they like to memorize yung unit circle. Familiar ba kayo sa unit circle, guys? I mean, familiar kayo sa yung may mga ganito, may values. You have here square root of 3 over 2, 1/2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2, square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so ako, I didn't memorize it. I mean, na-memorize ko na lang kasi alam ko na at 30 degrees, ito yung x niya, ito yung y niya. Okay? Tapos pagdating dito, identify mo lang kung saan sa kanila yung mag-negative and ano yung magpo-positive. So for me, medyo sayang sa brain cells if you try to memorize that. Nakuha ba dito kung paano tinitingnan yung dalawang values or ulitin ko? Kasi merong... Okay.
Ma'am, tatanong ko lang po. Kapag po kapag ba inverse po,
Magkaibing inverse sa reciprocal. Sige. Point out ko lang ito. Nawala yung audio mo. This one is equal to 1 over sine theta, which is equal to cosecant theta. Okay? Ito yung inverse. Nandito yung negative. Ay, sorry. Nandito yung negative mo. Okay? Para hindi magkalito. Etong dalawang to, hindi yan sila equal. Magkaiba yan silang dalawa. Okay? Ito yung ginagawa natin sa inverse. Kumbaga, so solve for theta, ang ginagawa natin would be to take the sine inverse of both sides. So sine inverse of sine theta is equal to sine inverse of x. Sine inverse of sine theta is just equal to theta. Kapag pareho sila, okay, theta lang din yan, equal to, okay, so ito yung ginagawa natin sa inverse trig. Ano yung question mo? Naputol ka kanina.
yung sa inverse, yung hinahanap lang po lagi is kung ilang degree, ganon, yung angle niya.
Yung angle yung hinahanap mo. And usually, okay, unless merong restrictions or unless given ka na your x is between two certain numbers, let's say, ganyan, okay? Usually, dalawa talaga yan. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, for example, you have this. Okay, let's say we're solving for sine okay. Alam natin that this is 45 degrees. Tama? Okay, that's 45 degrees. Pero hindi lang yan yung sagot. Kasi, di ba yung sine natin is also equal to y? So, ito yung y. Okay? Ang y mo is equal to square root of 2 over 2. Tama? And then yung y mo na yan, pwedeng on this side or on this side. So, meron kang dalawang angle. This one, let's say theta 1, and then this 2, which is theta 2. Okay? So, pareho yung reference angle nila equal. Parehong value niya is theta 1. Theta 1 din yung nandito. Okay? Pero yung nire-report mo na sagot would be theta is equal to theta 1 or and theta 2. Okay? So, here, hindi lang 45 degrees. If this is 45 degrees, meron ka rin 45 dito. So, 180 minus 45 is 135 degrees. Okay? For example, kunwari yung how about this one? Sine inverse of negative square root of 2 over 2. Saan to? Ito yan, di ba? Remember guys, yung sine natin is yung nasa y-axis. So, negative square root of 2 over square root of 2. So, pwedeng nandito siya or ito. Okay? So from here, standard tayo always. Yan yung one answer, and then the other answer would be ito. Okay? So here we have, alam natin 45 degrees ito, di ba? Yung ating reference angle dyan. Okay? So, 180 plus 45, ay, tama. 180 plus 45, that's equal to 215. Tama ba? Tama ba? Ay, ano ba yan? 25 pala. 225, itong mas maliit. Itong mas malaki would be 360 minus 45. Correct?
320.
Okay? So, yun yung sagot natin. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na kapag sine inverse, ito yung titinan mo. And then, yung mirror image niya sa kabilang side. Here, and then mirror image siya sa kabilang side. Take note guys, magkaibang problem yung red and green ha. Magkaiba sila ang problem. So, how about naman kapag meron tayong cosine. Cosine inverse of one half. Ano to? This is equal to positive siya. So yung choices mo would be positive na cosine. Ito yung 1/2 mo, di ba? Let's say yan yung 1/2 natin. So dalawa yung choices mo. Pwedeng nandito or itong nandito. Okay? Ano yung angle mo dito to give you 1/2? 60 degrees. Okay? So, dapat dito, yung reference angle mo din is 60 degrees. Pero, ang gusto mo would be itong standard angle. Okay? So, if this is 60 degrees, ito would be
300.
minus 60. Okay, good. Okay? How about if we have cosine inverse negative square root of 3 over 2. So, somewhere here, meron tayo negative square root of 3 over 2. So guys, nakita nyo na sa x-axis ko kinukuha yung point, di ba? Kasi, remember cosine theta is equal to x. So kaya dyan sa x-axis. Bahin natin ito. Okay. Ano yung value natin dito to get square root of 3 over 2? Dapat 30 degrees. Tama? And kung mapapansin nyo guys, consistent, di ba? Kapag yung angle nandito, ang cosine natin is negative. So negative yung nasa loob. Ito naman, yung cosine natin is here. Kaya positive yung mga nandito. Okay? So here, ano yung angles natin? Ito, this is equal to what? From here to here, 180 minus yung 30.
150.
150 degrees. And, ano yung isa natin? So again, from positive x-axis to this one, that's 180 plus itong 30. Have 210 degrees. Okay? Mag-solve. Examples tayo. How about if yung choices na sa radians?
Ma'am, i-resched na lang daw po si Kylie bukas yung second session niya.
Sige. Tapos sila natin sa example. Okay. How about this one? So, kunwari ganyan yung exam, yung mga given. So, ibig sabihin, we need yung nakarad. Okay? Ay, sorry. So, here dapat nakarad tayo, right?
Wala po talaga.
No? How about now? Wala? Hello? Walang audio? Okay, so if we have ganito, sine inverse of 1/2, nasan nga ito? Y. Okay? So ito yung tinitingnan natin. 1/2. Okay? For us to get itong 1/2, dapat, ang angle natin dito would be 60 degrees. Correct? Okay? So ano yung 60 degrees natin in rad? That would be pi over, ay sorry, 60. 30 pala. 1/2. 30 degrees. Ang 30 degrees natin is pi over 6. Correct? Pero wala siya sa choices. Pero may isa pa tayong option dito. Either itong pi over 6 or yung angle natin dito. If yung reference natin is also pi over 6, yung angle natin here would be pi minus pi over 6. That's equal to 5 pi over 6. So, ang sagot natin dito is pi over 6 or 5 pi over 6 or itong letter D. So, mas madali pa rin, gamitin mo muna yung degrees is if mas comfortable ka, then convert na lang. Okay? Okay, more examples tayo. Sige, how about you try this one, tapos ibigay mo sa akin in rad. Okay. Let's try this one. Positive. Dito lang ang choices mo. Square root of 3/2. Tama? Okay, but as you can see, meron ka nito. 3 pi/2, ito yan. Correct? And then ito yung 2 pi. So somewhere in between lang daw. So hindi mo na i-consider itong nasa taas. Itong nasa baba lang. Okay? So for you to get square root of 3 pi/2 here, ano dapat yung angle mo? Your angle
330.
30 degrees. So ito is 330 degrees. So ang sagot natin dito is theta is equal to 330 degrees. Okay? So, intro lang sa inverse. Mamaya na yung expressions on this and other properties or on next session. Let's move on to trigonometric equations. So, okay, pagdating sa trig equations, well, para lang din siyang algebra, but you're solving for x, okay? So, for example, if we have tangent squared x, okay? Equal to 3. Ano yung value ng x natin? So, we take the square root of both sides. So, don't forget, may plus minus talaga dyan. Tangent x is equal to plus minus square root of 3. Okay, so kailan to nangyayari? Kapag ang reference angle mo is 60 degrees. Correct? If this is 60, ano yung point mo dito? Ganyan, di ba? And then this will give us tangent of x equal to square root of 3. So, values ng x natin would be itong 60, okay? Plus minus siya. So, ibig sabihin, i-consider natin yung nasa lahat ng quadrant since wala namang other restriction, okay? So, we also have here, here, and here. Okay? Alam natin na 60 to. Anong angle ito? 60 ito. So, 100? 120. So far we have x equal to 60 degrees. What else? 120 degrees. Okay? How about this one? 180 plus 60. So, 200. Tama? Ay. Ano daw? 240. So. And lastly, this one. To, so 360 minus 60 or 300. Okay? So, sanayin mo rin yung sarili mo na naka-grad. Okay? So, usually, if ito yung 5/3, this is, ano yung next? 2 pi over 3. Next, then is 4 pi over 3. And then 5 pi over 3. Okay?
Nalilito pa din po ako kung paano kino-convert sa grad. Yung conversion na 180 po, yun di ba?
Yun yun. Maganda lang kasi kapag medyo na-memorize. Hindi naman memorize. Pero ito kasi, yung gusto kong i-memorize nyo dito, hindi lahat. Okay? Pero yung 60 pi over 3, 30 pi over 6. So kasi kapag alam mong ano na to, i-double mo lang siya. Ito, 60 and 120 times 2 lang, di ba? Tapos 60 to 40 times 4, so 4 pi over 3. 60 to 300 times 5, so 5 pi over 3. So maganda kapag memorize mo na tong part na to. Nakuha mo ba yung pattern?
Opo.
Di ba? Medyo madali lang. Kesa na kunwari, for 240, multiply ka pa ng pi over 180, magka-convert ka pa, 4, 3, di ba? Pero although madali rin naman, makukuha mo rin naman. Mas madali lang. So, maganda rin kapag alam na agad, pero hindi naman to matagal. Okay? Sige, solve pa tayo.
Ma'am, yung una kong naisip nung nakita ko yung problem, i-divide si tan squared. Bawal yun gawin.
I-divide by?
Para maiwan si x, di-divide both sides by tan squared. Bawal po yun.
Bawal. Kasi yung tan squared itself, hindi naman to variable, okay? Yung buong expression mo is tan squared x. Okay? Nakuha mo ba? Kumbaga, hindi naman to, wala namang value si tan squared. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-divide by tan squared. Kasi, ito yan eh, tan squared theta. Kumbaga, isipin mo na lang, ito, squared, paano ko ba yan? Hindi siya variable, hindi ito variable. Parang ginawa mo kasi siyang variable eh. Kung divide mo siya. Nakuha mo ba?
Apo.
Sige. Para mas masanay, so for x pa rin, okay. So kapag nag-solve for x sa trig equations, parang pareho lang rin sa algebra na kapag meron kang solving for x, di ba minsan you need to factor. So parang ganun lang din dito. So for example here, common factor nila would be itong cosine x, tama? Okay? So dito, pwede natin ilabas si cosine x. May iwan sa loob would be 2 sine x, okay, minus 1, tama? Is equal to 0. Okay, so this is 0 kapag cosine x is equal to 0 and 2 sine x minus 1 is equal to 0. So yung goal mo is may factors ka na iisa na lang yung ano niya sa loob. Yung trigonometric function niya. So for example, this one, cosine x is equal to x, tuwing kailan to? When we have, kailan siya 0? Dito, di ba? And dito. Correct? So we have it at pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. So when x is equal to pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. Okay? How about this one? 2 sine x minus 1 is equal to 0. Lipat lang si 1 sa kabila. 2 sine x is equal to 1. Sine x is equal to 1/2. Okay? So sine inverse of 1/2 is equal to x. Kailan ka may 1/2 sa sine? Pi over
30 degrees.
6 or 30 degrees. Okay? Ito lang ba? Pati dito sa kabila. Right? Kapag sine, 1/2 to 1/2 din. So, ito pi over 6. Ano naman itong mas malaking angle? 5 pi over 6. Okay? So, yung sagot naman natin dito is when x is equal to pi over 6, 5 pi over 6. Okay? So, for example, meron kang, ito kasi, yung cosine and sine, ang possible values of x mo is all real numbers. So, pasok naman lahat to. Pero later on, kapag may mga tangent and cotangent and cosecant, secant, meron tayong restrictions, di ba? So, iti-take into account mo yun. So, kung may ma-solve ka na, for example, pi, tapos meron kang cotangent dito. Eh, di ba yung cotangent is undefined sa pi? So, hindi mo yun i-consider sa final answer mo. Okay, pero in this case, lahat sila is i-consider. Since ang domain naman ng sine and cosine mo kanina, di ba, is all real numbers. Sige, examples pa tayo. Okay. How about if meron naman tayong ganito? So, if wala kang ma-apply na identity here, what you can do sa mga ganitong types of problems would be, for example, this one, gawin mo siyang cosine din. Okay? Para later on, pwede tayong mag-factor. Okay? Kasi dito wala naman na tayong mag-factor eh. Wala na rin akong ibang magagalaw. Wala akong masisimplify on this side. So, what I can do is, pwede kong palitan ito ng yung sine squared x natin, equal din yan in terms of cosine sa ano? 1 minus cosine squared x. Tama? From our sine squared x plus cosine squared x equal to 1. Okay? Pinalitan ko lang to para in terms of cosine. So, from here, sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay? Minus cosine x minus 1 is equal to 0. Distribute natin yung 2. So, yung mga ganito, admittedly, hindi naman siya may isip agad. I mean, usually, kailangan ng practice para nasasanay. So, we have here 2 cosine squared x minus plus 1. Kasi 2 minus 1. Lalabas ko yung negative para mas madali. Okay. Now, can you factor this one? Pwede na, di ba?
Ano po nangyari dun sa isang 2? Di ba 2 minus 2 cosine x?
2 minus 1 is equal to positive 1.
Positive 1. Okay po.
Okay. So, pwede mo na to siyang ma-factor, di ba? Isipin mo na, let's say A is equal to cosine x. So, you will have 2a squared minus a plus 1. Okay, yung iba gusto nilang nagaganyan pa. Ako, okay na sa akin na direct. Pero kung hindi kaya, pwedeng gawin to, okay? Anong factors nito? 2a, a, negative 1, oops. Ay, okay, sorry. Magpa-positive na pala to. Nilabas ko yung negative sign. So, mag-opposite lahat ng sign nila sa loob. Nilabas ko para mas madali. Nakuha ba kung bakit naging ganyan yung signs?
Apo.
Okay, so we have this one. Factor lang. Nakuha kung paano ito finactor. 2a plus 1 times a minus 1.
Apo.
Okay? So, since okay naman sa ganyan, then just substitute back yung cosine. So, if we factor this yung nasa taas, we have 2 times cosine x plus 1 times cosine x minus 1. Okay? Now, can you solve for x? Makakuha na ba? Equal to sa 0 if this one is equal to 0 or this one is equal to 0. Tama? So, from here, 2 cosine x plus 1 is equal to 0. So, that's cosine x is equal to negative 1/2. Okay? How about here? We have cosine x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, cosine x is equal to 1. Okay. Kailan nag-1 si cosine x? At when x is equal to 0 and positive 1, 2 pi. Tama? Naalala ba? Graph ng cosine. 0 and 2 pi siya nag-1. Or pwede mo rin gawin sa unit circle. 0 and 2 pi. Siya positive x. I mean positive 1. Nakuha kung saan ito nang galing.
Opo.
Okay, how about this one? Kailan naman negative 1/2 ang cosine natin? Dito, right? Kapag ito ay 60 degrees. Tama? So yung angles natin dito would be
120.
120 and
240.
240 degrees. Okay? Or 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over. Okay, so either naman, depende lang sa choices. Sinasanay ko lang. Kasi usually sanay tayo sa degrees, di ba? Pero hindi tayo sanay kapag radians. So 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. Actually, kapag nag-engineering, usually naka-pi, naka-radians yung mga bagay. So, masasanay. Okay? So, yun yung answer natin. So, pag titingnan natin dito, sine and cosine naman, wala naman tayong restrictions sa domain. So, pasok sila pareho. So, ito yung final answer natin. 0, 2 pi over 3, 2 pi, and 4 pi over 3. Okay. So, medyo paulit-ulit actually yung concept ng factoring pagdating sa trig, solving ng trigonometric equation. So, try mo nga ito. Sige. After, let's end it here sa example na to. Okay. Sabihan mo ako when you're done.
Ma'am, tama po ba ginawa ko? Finactor ko yung sine x.
Correct. Finactor out mo dito.
Opo.
Ay, sorry Wait lang. Equal to 0. Take note, meron kang plus 1. Okay? So, kapag finactor out mo siya, let's say finactor out mo Pag finactor out mo si sine x, may iwan sa'yo 2 sine x minus 3 plus 1. Okay? So, hindi mo naman ito ma-equate. Hindi mo siya basta-basta i-equate sa 0 kasi may plus 1 ka. Kumbaga, silang dalawa, yung product nila is equal to, kapag nilipat mo dito, negative 1. Parang ganun, okay? So, parang sa factoring lang din or solving for x. Kapag nasa-solve ka for x, Okay, dapat dalawang factors equal to 0. So, yun yung goal mo. So, ang tip dito would be to treat yung sine x as a variable, let's say a. Okay, then substitute mo si a doon. Ano yung makuha mo equation? Then, saka ka magfa-factor. Okay. Meron tayo nito, di ba? 2 sine squared x minus 3 sine x plus 1. Okay? I will substitute. Yung iba ginagawa to. Pwede rin hindi. Kung kaya mong i-imagine si sine x as one variable. But if not, assign it. Let's say 2a. Let's say a. So we will have 2a squared minus 3a plus 1. Okay? Now, factor this one. Ano yung factor nito? Kasi wala namang ibang factors yung plus 1. Okay? This will give me 3a. Correct? So, substitute back natin si sine. We have 2 sine x minus 1 times sine x minus 1 is equal to 0. Tama ba? Tama ba yung pagkaka-factor? Okay, so from here, pwedeng diretso ka na dito kapag medyo nasanay ka na. Okay, practice lang yan. To imagine that itong sine x is just like a variable, tapos nagpa-factor ka. Sige, from here nga, solve for x.
Sine x is equals to 1/2.
Correct?
Then sine x is equals to 1.
Okay. But your goal here is to solve mismo sa x. Okay? Hindi lang sa value ng sine x as a whole. So, ang gagawin mo dito, di ba here, sine x is equal to 1/2.
1.
Ito naman equal sa 1.
1.
Kailan mo, anong angles yung magbibigay sa'yo ng 1/2? Sa sine x. That would be when x is
Pi over 3.
60 degrees or 30 degrees?
60.
Sine ha? Ito yung kailangan mo. Ano magbibigay dito? Kapag ito is 30 degrees. Okay? 1/2 dito. Ito, square root of 3 over 2. Dapat 30 degrees. Okay? Pi over 6.
Sa cosine po yung 60, di ba?
Ha?
Kapag po sa cosine plus 1/2, dun po ba siya 60?
Pag cosine, pag cosine is 60, 1/2. Oo. So sine 30, siya yung 1/2. Nakuha ba?
Opo.
So ito is pi over 6. Pi over 6 lang ba? Ano pa yung isa? Kapag sine, meron dito, meron din sa other side. Okay, so we have here
300. Ay, tama ba?
dito lang, hindi tayo dito sa baba, sine tayo. 1/2, positive 1/2. So, nandito sa taas pareho. 5 pi over 6. Okay? Pagdating naman dito, kailan 1 si sine? Oh, sine natin is y, di ba? So, kailan yung y natin is equal to 1?
90.
X is 90 or pi over 2. Okay, correct. So, ito yung final answer natin. Oops. Okay, tama naman. 0 to 2 pi. So, ito yung final answer natin. Okay?